Welcome everyone. Welcome to our series. Today we're going to talk about financial management in turbulent times, and with us we have an expert, Mr. Sandeep Sahni. Sandeep Sahni, welcome to our show. Mr. Sandeep Sahni has done his schooling from St. John's High School and Modern School, New Delhi. He's an alum of IIM Lucknow, and his passion is to advise people on how to handle their finances, and that is the very sense of today's series. Sir, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you for inviting me to the show.
Pleasure, sir. My first question is that people are having this fear. There's a psychosis in the market that the pandemic might hit any time. There is also a scenario of a recessionary environment that is there. So people are sitting on their cash, or a few of them have lost their jobs. Now, what is your advice? What should a person do in such a turbulent time?
See, whether the times are turbulent or the times are booming, I think the basic financial planning remains the same. See, the basic financial, you have to follow a financial hierarchy. उसमें क्या होता है कि सबसे पहले आपको एक emergency fund आपके लिए create करना है, which is 6 to 8 months of your monthly expense. The next is your insurance, your health insurance, your term insurance, and after that comes the planning for your financial goals. उसमें goals generally सभी के goals एक तरह के होते हैं. You want to plan for your children, for your children's education, for their marriage, your own retirement, which is very important. And then goals like buying a house, buying an asset, buying a car, going on a holiday, these kind of things. So times जैसे भी हों, turbulent हो, booming हो, the basic financial planning remains the same. So it is no different. But let me tell you, आप सभी लोग बोलते हैं कि times बहुत turbulent है और recession आने वाली है. See, please understand one thing, that recession and a boom is a cycle. Like any other thing, it's a market cycle. जो अगर आप देखेंगे इकोनॉमिक साइकिल को, तो एक इकोनॉमिक साइकिल 4 से 5 साल का होता है. बीच में 3 साल 3.5 साल जो होते हैं वो बूम के होते हैं, और अराउंड 1.5 years of a recession. So it's an economic cycle. The recession may happen for whatever reason. This time the reason has been the pandemic and the role which the central banks played, which resulted in high inflation. Reasons, if you look at the economic history for the last 20 years, last 50 years, there have always been recessions, there have always been booms, and the reasons have been different. Even this will pass. And I think we've gone through the worst of it. We are now getting back into the boom period, I feel. So that is what it is.
That's great to hear, sir. Look at the optimistic outlook. But आजकल sir, people are talking about investment in gold. Specifically in recessionary environment, they feel that it's an instrument where we can hedge money. और आज ही I was reading that सरकार ने कहा that they want to open up a new sovereign bond. So do you think the current people who are sitting on a little bit of cash should invest in this yellow metal?
See, gold also, like any other asset class, has a market cycle. Now typically what happens is, like for example in equity, the market cycle is around 4 to 5 years. In gold, the cycle is around 10 to 12 years. So the cycle is slightly longer. See, what we advise all our clients, or what we recommend to them, is that 5 to 10% of your total investment should be in gold. Now, gold is not an investment. It's like an insurance. It's like a hedge against equity. See, whenever there's turmoil in the markets, whenever there is uncertainty in the markets, gold will always go up. So if you'll see the history of gold, in 2008, when the financial crisis came, gold price in India suddenly went up from around 10,000 to 30,000. When the pandemic hit, the gold price went up from 30,000 to 50,000, 60,000. So whenever there is turmoil and uncertainty in the market, that is the time when the gold, generally shoots up. In India, we have another advantage of investing in gold, is that the rupee depreciates by around 4 to 5% every year against the dollar, and gold is denoted in dollars. तो उतना आपको 4 से 5% तो एप्रिसिएशन गोल्ड में आपको मिल जाता है. बट एसेंशली गोल्ड में जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है आप कीजिए एज अ इंश्योरेंस, एज अ हेज अगेंस्ट इक्विटी, बट नॉट एज अ प्योर इन्वेस्टमेंट. प्योर इन्वेस्टमेंट में आप जब भी कभी कोई प्योर इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं, उसमें आपका सबसे पहला जो ऑब्जेक्टिव होना चाहिए वो ये होना चाहिए कि योर इन्वेस्टमेंट हैज़ टू बीट इन्फ्लेशन आफ्टर टैक्सेस. Gold will possibly give you a return which will be equal to inflation. That has been the history of the investment in gold. But it will not be able to beat inflation. So our advice is restrict yourself to 5 to 10% of your corpus in gold and look at and have a diversified portfolio. Have equity, have debt, have gold, have other things. So that is how it should be.
Sir, since you've talked about equity, Sensex has touched a lifetime high recently in this last week, in fact. So if a person has got certain surplus cash or whatever saving he has, do you think it's the right time to enter into the market, or do you think he or she should wait for a correction to happen and then enter the market?
See, we always have a saying in our business that the right time to enter the market is when you have the money and the right time to exit is when you need the money. So it's as simple as that. See, the point is you should enter the equity market or you should invest in the equity market if you have a horizon of around 4 to 5 years and above. Less than 4 to 5 years, it will always be very volatile. So we will never advise you to get into the equity market. And regarding it reaching an all-time high and valuations being very expensive, let me tell you today, despite having the market having reached an all-time high, the valuations are cheap today. Market in October 2021, when it touched an all-time high, the previous high, was valued, the PE of the market at that time was 30-31. Today the market PE is 21. So it is cheaper. In December 20, when everything was shut down and we were going to be having another round of pandemic of the COVID, that time the market was trading at a multiple of 40. That was expensive. Today we are at a near-term average. So I will suggest again, get into the market, but please get into the market if you have a horizon of, let's say 4 to 5 years plus. Otherwise, don't get into that market.
So the counter question is कि personal financial management goals, every individual has got the goal. Firstly, I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, they vary from person to person. Another thing that I have in my mind is कि अगर मेरे पास आज 100 रुपए हैं and I don't have the long term horizon, that means it's a short term investment or a medium term investment or a long term, whatever the case scenario may be. Do you think the personal financial goals change or they need to be put into different instruments?
Definitely. See, the point is, let's say today you have a goal that you want to buy a car in the next 3 years, right? So, and you have a certain amount of money which you are willing to invest. Now, because the time horizon is 3 years, we will not advise you to invest in equity, right? So either you'll have to increase your investment amount or you have to decrease your expectation. It's as simple as that. See, equity markets will always give you the best returns, but they'll give you the best returns in the long term. I'll give you an example, Abhishek. See, the index started in 1979, it was at 100. Today, it is at 63,000. It has grown by 630 times in the period of around 40 odd years. Gold at that time was 913 rupees a tola. Today it is around 60,000. It has gone up 60 times. Real estate at that time, let's talk about Chandigarh. A one canal house at that time was approximately 5 lakhs. Today, some people say 8 crores, some people say 10 crores, let's say 10 crores. So it has gone up by 200 times. The market has gone up by 600 times. But that has happened over a 40-year period. But there have been periods where it has corrected by 65%. There have been periods where it has corrected by 45%. A faint-hearted person will have a heart attack and he won't be left to enjoy the returns. So we'll always say that please invest into the market, over the long term, one. And second, please take professional help when you're investing into the market. So that is our advice. In the long term, markets will always give you the best returns. There is no competition at all. And this is not true for the Indian market alone. It is true for the markets worldwide. पूरी दुनिया के बाजारों में ऐसा ही हुआ है. US, China, Japan, India, everybody. The markets behave in a similar fashion. But they are for the long term.
Thank you, sir, for sharing this wonderful insight. I'm sure all the persons who watch this video would definitely take a lot of wisdom from your knowledge. I mean, like whatever wisdom you've shared, knowledge you've shared, they'll use it. So thank you very much, and looking forward for such more healthy interaction with you.
Sure, anytime.
Ensuring that...
Can I just add a bit
sure,
to what we've just discussed?
Sure.
You were discussing about why you should invest into the market or when you should invest into the market, or is it too risky to invest into the market now? I will just like to add one thing. See, again, one basic thing remains, that your investment horizon has to be long term. Now, if you have that kind of investment horizon, Abhishek, the way in the country is poised today, the India today is at a $3.75 trillion economy. The per capita income is $2,200. See, if we study what happened in similar economies when they were at this stage, that is US, Japan, China, a similar thing is going to happen in India. When your per capita income doubles, your discretionary spending goes up very high. So what happened? In the US, let me tell you, in the period, it took 12 years for the economy to double from 3.5 trillion to 7 trillion. This was 1978 to 1990, I think. It's 87, 88, or that period. The markets gave a return of approximately 18% return. China did this in 4 years. The markets gave a return of 34% CAGR. 34% CAGR means they were almost doubling every 2 years. It went up 4 times in 4 years. Similar thing is going to be happening in India. This is the right time. We are on the cusp of a boom. And that boom is going to happen because our economy is going to do well. Because we are poised at that stage today. So I will advise everybody to invest. And the best part about investing in the market is you don't need a big sum. You can start very, very small. You can start with 1,000 rupees, and then after that let compounding do its role. So you just start small, and it is totally liquid, it is totally transparent, it is tax efficient, and it will give you wonderful returns. The kind of wealth which will be created will be tremendous. So my best wishes to everybody who starts investing now, and I'm sure, they'll thank you for bringing this to them. And
love your positive outlook, sir. And I would request each one of you who watches this video to please pen down your comments, ask questions. In the next episode, we'll try and cover as many as we can. And this is Dr. Abhishek Mishra signing off from Hind Janpath. Thank you.